guys. It's Friday, November 7th, 2025. It's getting quite a bit colder out. On Wednesday, it was warm enough that I was out in just a light sweater, but by last night, it was pretty cold. And I think we have frost today. Yeah, we have frost today, so it's a lot chillier. I think I'm still gonna walk to work, but it's cold enough now that I have to wear my winter clothes. Also, I'm a little bit junky. I think it's just the cold air, but I might be getting sick. I hope I'm not getting sick. When you work in healthcare, it's a lot easier to end up sick, unfortunately. That's just kind of, you're working directly with people, and if they get sick, chances are you're gonna get sick. But unless you're like really sick, they do not like it when you call in. And when you call in sick, you need a note from the doctor. And guess what? The doctor is a 30-minute drive. So most of the time, you just go in. Because they make it very, very difficult to call off for work. And it's fine though, because if I am sick, then I would have caught it from the people that I'm taking care of anyway. And so they've already had it. Anyway. Today is going to be a busy day. Yesterday I woke up with a pinched nerve in my shoulder, and that was very unpleasant. It feels better today. It's still painful. Like, it was still difficult to find a comfortable position to try to sleep in. But it is better than it was. I gotta sneeze. I just have to edit that out. Not a big deal. Just takes a few extra minutes. I'm gonna do my makeup the same as I did it yesterday, because I think when I get off work this afternoon, if it's nice enough, I want to take some more pictures and videos by the yellow leaves that I did yesterday. One sec. Oof. I had to sneeze again. Okay, so I'm using Midnight Sun for the first color, and it's kind of a red black. It's by Divina. Oh, I found out the way I do my eyeliner is called puppy liner. It's not cat wings, because I have to do it differently due to my eye shape. Which I didn't know that. Okay, the next color I'm using is called Sundays by Terra Moons. Sometimes I remember to tell you guys what colors I'm using, and sometimes I completely forget. Oh, what to talk about? I had a topic in mind, a couple of topics, and now my brain is just going blank. This one's called Tangent by NBA. What did I want to talk about? I don't know. I don't remember. So I was like, I should have wrote it down. I had topics in mind last night. I should have wrote it down and I didn't. Or something like a funny story from my past, but now I can't remember which one. Oh well. Yesterday I was talking to the girl that was my best friend growing up, and I still consider her to be a friend of mine, even though we lost touch for like many years. And we were talking about, so I sent her a picture of my daughter wearing the big puffy JNCO jeans. They're not JNCO brand, but you know what kind of jeans I'm talking about, right? The Starburst Galaxy by NBA. And she's like, oh my gosh, I totally thought she was you for a second. And I was like, yeah, I know, right? Like, she looks just like me in high school, wearing the same style of clothes and everything. And she's like, it's insane. Okay, this color is Sprinkle Whips by Davina. Anyway, so we got to talking. We were talking about when we were kids. So we never played with Barbies. We always played with the original Kenner Littlest Pet Shop toys. The ones that looked a lot closer to like actual animals instead of the big bobblehead ones. And we had this specific game that we played. We named all the characters and their names always stayed the same. And the premise of the entire game was she played a character that was the prince and his name was Junior, and then I was a poor girl named Cream, because like her coat was like a cream color, and the two of them fell in love, and there was a magic waterfall and like all this stuff. And so my original collection got lost over the years, and then when I had my daughter, I really wanted to have those toys again. So I slowly started buying them from eBay and Mercari. And when she was younger, she had the same collection that I had. She still has most of them. She takes really good care of her stuff. She kept a lot of the names that I told her were the names that we used when I was a kid, and we would play with these characters together. And now she's older and she uses them as like display models. She glued them into like a diorama. But anyway, my friend Kay and I, we were talking about this, and she's like, man, I wish we could go back to when we were that age, when everything was simple, everything was easy. Well, not everything was easy. I had a pretty awful childhood, as in like I grew up really poor, and my dad wasn't in my life, and my mom was neglectful, and I had to raise my siblings. But there was times whenever I was hanging out with Kay, we were just carefree. She had a car. We would go to the mall. We didn't have responsibilities when we were just hanging out together. It was just pure, innocent fun. She's like, I miss those days. I'm like, you know what? I do too. I miss that. I miss when we could just be. I haven't actually seen her face to face in how long? It's been so long. Since my sister's wedding, which was 21 years ago. And we only recently reconnected on Facebook too. We lost touch for years. Just, life takes you in different directions. But the stories that we used to play with those characters actually did turn into a children's book. a few years ago. We always played the same storyline. The characters were always the same. And it was, you know, so I remembered the storyline pretty well. If I could go back and re-experience anything from my childhood, it would definitely be spending time with her. Just hanging out, and we also worked together at a nursing home. We did everything together. And honestly, I think it was my fault that the friendship broke down. Because I had a boyfriend, and not my husband, it was a different guy I was dating. And I spent the summers at my grandma's house. And she lived in another state. And I started dating this boy. And as we got a bit older, he actually came to visit me. He took a bus. And I don't know, I mean, and then after that, there was this other boy that I had a crush on that was a friend of ours. And he lived in another town. And I think what happened is I became so like involved with these boys that I didn't realize my best friend was feeling left behind. And things just sort of broke down. I realized it later on. And I remember like sending her a message a few years after I got married, being like, hey, I'm really sorry. Like, I didn't realize what you were feeling at the time. And then she never responded, so I thought maybe she never got the message. But she reached out to me after my son died. And, you know, we did talk about it and how, you know, our lives just went in different paths. And she says, no, I don't blame you. Like, we were both going in different directions. She says, but I've always remembered your birthday, and I've always considered you my friend. And I was like, same, girl. Like, our birthdays are like only a week apart. And we had another friend whose birthday was like right in between us. And we would celebrate our birthdays together. One time we got a hotel room. Her mom booked us a hotel room so we could go swimming. We didn't actually sleep in the hotel room. We just went swimming. And I mean, we always had a great time. We weren't always nice to each other because teenagers don't always know how to not compete with each other. I'd love to reconnect with our other friend. Although I really don't think she liked me. She used to tell me that she was only friends with me because she thought she was smarter than me, but I actually got better grades than her. I just, you know, didn't show her my grades. I told her, oh no, I failed, you know, because I didn't want her to feel bad. I was the type of person that would absolutely make myself smaller so that other people would feel better. And then she found out that I had better grades, and she got really upset. I should have done this before I put on my mascara, because now I was dumb. Anyway, reconnected with some of my friends that are guys. I didn't date these guys in high school. I definitely had a crush on both of them at one point, but like, we were friends. Reconnected with some of those recently too. It would be so great to actually like get together with some of my high school friends again. That would be so great. None of my friends went to the high school reunions. I didn't go either. I was like sad that I missed out on it because I thought, oh my gosh, I could have seen my friends. None of them went. We weren't the popular crowd. We were kind of the outliers, you know. But we had a good group of friends. It would be fun to just like hang out again, like when we were kids. Anyway, I'll see you guys later.